This is a second and third stimulus check update. A vote for the next stimulus package could happen as early as Monday or Tuesday. I'll play a clip from Bernie Sanders talking about how there's only one way to pass this next stimulus package with $1,400 stimulus checks. And if you were planning on doing the rebate recovery credit, the IRS can now take away that rebate recovery credit from you if you owe any child support or government debts. I'll give you the details on that. And then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. I hope you're having a great day so far. If you appreciate these updates, then hit the like button down below. I want to get your opinion on this first. So one billionaire is saying that the GameStop stock surge is fueled by stimulus checks, and that's the reason why it went up 1,500% since January 12th. So let me know down in the comments below. Do you think it's because of these stimulus checks or because of some other underlying reasons? Let me know down in the comments below. So next, let's talk about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the third most powerful Democrat, and he's a big proponent of using the reconciliation process in order to pass this next stimulus package with $1,400 stimulus checks. Here's what he has to say about it.
Along with some Republicans back in December in favor of putting larger stimulus checks into American pockets. Senator Sanders, thanks for being with us. So to the question of direct payments, there's a group of senators, both Democrat and Republican, who are lobbying the Biden administration and saying the current plan gives too much money to wealthy Americans and the threshold should be lowered. President Biden himself has said he's open to that. Are you?
All that we're talking about here is trimming off some of the spillover money for wealthy people. Right now, small sums of money might go to families who are earning more than $150,000. I have no problem with doing away with that. But bottom line is, in the midst of this terrible economic crisis, we have got to get checks of $1,400 on top of the $600 that we already allocated out to every working class family in this country and to their kids as well. People are struggling to put food on the table, to avoid eviction, to go to the doctor. They need help now, and we need that total $2,000 package.
And you've been vocal that COVID relief has to happen fast, and if that means passing the bill through reconciliation, so be it. Can you just explain, kind of in layman's terms, exactly what reconciliation is and why you think that should be an option?
Well, from a political point of view, the most important point is that it only requires a majority vote. To pass significant legislation in the Senate, you need 60 votes. And frankly, we do not have 60 votes from Republicans to address the catastrophes that are impacting working families today. So the only way that we are going to deal effectively with the pandemic and get vaccines into the arms of people, increase vaccine production, the only way we're going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage so people are not working for starvation wages, the only way we're going to open up our schools in a way that is safe, the only way that we're going to put people back to work in restaurants and protect small businesses, the only way we're going to do that is the reconciliation. And we expect that we will have a budget bill on the floor as soon as Monday or Tuesday.
Bernie Sanders saying that this package can get to the floor as early as Monday or Tuesday for a vote. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think that this could happen? We've heard so many promises from different politicians over the past 8-9 months, but do you think it's different this time around now that the Democrats are in charge? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Here's the rest of the interview with Bernie Sanders talking about the risk of passing it so soon.
COVID is an area where Democrats may get Republicans in some cases on board. If President Biden and the Democrats do go it alone without Republican support, you know, I guess the counter argument, it could burn bridges with Republican colleagues. Does that concern you, or does, at this point, do the end justify the means?
Well, you know, let's not look at it quite that dramatically. I mean, the way you look at it is, should the Congress respond to the pain that tens of millions of families are hurting? Should we be effective and aggressive in trying to crush this pandemic? Should we make sure that our kids can get back to school? Should we make sure that workers are earning a living wage? So the crises we face are unprecedented. We have got to act and act decisively. Now, this is the Reconciliation 1 package. There'll be another package coming along, and it's possible that we can get some more Republican support for that one. That one will deal with more of the long-term structural problems facing this country in terms of a crumbling infrastructure and in terms of transforming our energy system to deal with climate change. When we do that, we can create millions of good-paying jobs. There may well be some Republicans who want to work with us on that. But right now, this is an emergency bill. It's the pandemic. It's the economic crisis. It's the health crisis. We have got to act and act decisively and as soon as possible.
You know, one of the things you've talked about a lot over the years is when Republicans have wanted money for military increases, for whatever it may be, that hasn't been a problem for Republicans. But when Democrats start talking about money for schools, or in this case, COVID relief, all of a sudden there's deficit concerns. Is this another example of that?
It absolutely is. And the hypocrisy is really quite extraordinary. You all remember, it was just a few years ago when Trump and my Republican colleagues voted for almost $2 trillion in tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations. Anderson, I didn't hear a whole lot of worry about the deficit then. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars going into all types of corporate welfare. We're talking about a military budget with a Pentagon that has never been independently audited, massive amounts of waste and fraud within the Pentagon budget, not a problem. But somehow or another, when it comes to feeding children who are hungry, when it comes to making sure that people who are sick in the middle of a pandemic get the health care they need, when it comes to reopening our schools in a safe way, in expanding the child tax credit, so we deal with the horrendous level of child poverty in this country. When it comes to those things, suddenly my Republican colleagues become very fervent about the deficit.
The way that Bernie Sanders sees this playing out is that the stimulus package is going to pass in the House easily, and then once it gets to the Senate, they're going to have the reconciliation process where it would just need a simple majority vote of 51 votes, no help from the Republicans. Now, the only problem with that plan is that not all Democrats are on board. Even if one Democrat votes against the stimulus package, then the whole reconciliation process is down the drain, no stimulus package, no stimulus checks. And that one Democrat is Joe Manchin from West Virginia. So because of Joe Manchin's comments talking about the stimulus package, stimulus checks, doesn't want to do reconciliation, wants bipartisan support, that caused Kamala Harris to go on a TV appearance in West Virginia, not even mentioning Joe Manchin, basically trying to influence Joe Manchin's constituents to put pressure on Joe Manchin to make sure he's on board with the Democrats to pass this next stimulus package. So Joe Manchin, what he said that caused a lot of concern for Democrats is we want to help everybody that needs help. But if a person is making $250,000 to $300,000, I don't think they're in as much need compared to a person making $40,000 or $50,000. We're going to target it. Now, what worries me about this is that he's using the same talking point as the Republicans did before, saying that someone who's making $250,000 to $300,000 that they shouldn't get a stimulus check. But President Biden already said that he's willing to slash the income thresholds, get rid of it so people who make this much money aren't going to get that money at all. He said that about a week ago. So Joe Manchin saying this kind of worries me. It doesn't seem like he's on board yet. So Kamala Harris went on his local news station and said this: because we have faith in the American people, we ran as Democrats, but we are Americans and we will lead as Americans. We want our country to be strong. We want our country to be healthy. We want our children to thrive. And that's the bottom line. That's why we're doing this. So Kamala Harris isn't going to all news stations around the country in different states, mainly just West Virginia and Arizona, because that's where it seems to be the most friction in terms of Democrats in gaining support for this stimulus package. So let me know down in the comments below, do you think Joe Manchin is still going to be against this stimulus package if reconciliation happens? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Moving on, President Biden sent out a tweet yesterday saying that $600 is simply not enough when you have to choose between paying your rent and putting food on the table. That's why my American Rescue Plan finishes the job of getting $2,000 to folks who need it most. So he's basically saying the same tweet every couple of days, but a lot of people are saying we want more action, less talk. You'll believe it when you see it in the bank account. Let me know, is this going to be dragged out for months, or do you think things are going to be different this time around because the Democrats are in charge? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Also, a lot of people are getting upset at him using the $2,000 term. Yes, it's $600 plus $1,400, but everyone's not getting a $2,000 stimulus check. They're getting a $1,400 stimulus check. Also, President Biden is saying that the cost of inaction is high, but we want to see action. As the American people, we want to see things be different this time around, especially if the Democrats are in charge, making bold claims. People want to see action actually happen. Also, President Biden signed 42 executive actions since taking office. I'm not going to go through these executive actions, but this seems like a lot. This is a lot of executive actions and getting a lot of criticism from the right, saying that he's ruling by executive action and not by, bipartisan support. Basically, making everything that he wants happen through executive order. Moving on to the second stimulus check. So if you were planning on doing the rebate recovery credit, then the IRS can actually take it away from you via if you owe child support or any other government debts. So let me get into this. Basically, we were promised that with this second stimulus check, if you owe child support, you would get it. If you owed any taxes, government debt, you would get it as well. But now, if you didn't receive your second stimulus check, there are actually a lot of delays because it may be due to any debts that you owe. So according to Erin Collins at the National Tax Preparer Advocate, she says that since the spring, the IRS reassured these taxpayers if they claim the rebate recovery credit when they file their 2020 tax returns, they will get the full amount of stimulus money they are eligible for and be made whole. Now that reassurance turns out to be inaccurate based upon the law challenge. This is as a result of a law changing back in December. So this could be a reason if you didn't receive your second stimulus check yet. This could be a reason why, if you owe any child support or government debts. Let me know down in the comments below, did you receive your second stimulus check yet if you owe these debts? And if you do owe these debts, do you see anything in the Get My Payment tool saying that you're not going to get it, ineligible? Let me know what's going on with that. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Terry Beck asks, I would love monthly checks, but my question is, who is going to pay for those checks? Isn't it us in higher and higher taxes? I'm afraid how we will have to pay it back. Great question. So there's a lot of politicians asking for the $2,000 a month stimulus checks. Even at $1,400, it's going to cost $400 billion to give everyone a $1,400 stimulus check. So $400 billion plus dollars a month doesn't seem feasible for the government. They just don't have the money for that, and most likely it would be higher and higher taxes. So I don't see monthly stimulus checks happening. Janine Davis asks, my son is 17 in April of 2020. Will he have to file, or can I still claim him, but he won't receive help on the next stimulus? So I wouldn't base your question of whether claiming him or not claiming him on the third stimulus check. So currently the third stimulus check is going to give $1,400 to adult dependents, but that's also what they said about the second stimulus check, that they were going to give it to adult dependents and change their mind the last minute. So I wouldn't base whatever your decision is on a politician's promise. Just do what you think is best. I can't tell you what to do. Next question comes from Leanne Derricks asks, with me being on SSI, would I get it? Yes. SSI, SSDI, veterans, RRB, everyone who got the first and second stimulus check will get the third stimulus check. Shaylee Ledevre asks, can you remind me who is eligible for rental assistance? My daughter needs that. Georgia. So Rental assistance. Basically, there's 3 qualifications for rental assistance out of the $25 billion pot that's available that all 50 states are getting. So what I recommend for eligibility, you would need to show that you are on the verge of being eviction with back pay from rent. You can't have more than 80% of the median average wage. But before you apply for any rental assistance, check your area and see. So there's a lot of different areas. So if you just go to Google and you type in rental assistance and your area, you'll see it's like $8.7 billion, Harris County and Bend County, which is in Texas, $100 million, New York, $100 million. So there's so many different programs right now because all the money is flooding in from that $25 billion, which is available now. So Google your area rent assistance and try to figure out how you could access it and apply for it. It's different for every city, town, county, and state. Also, Los Angeles, or actually California, is going to have the eviction moratorium extended through June 30th through a new bill that they're introducing, and also subsidized rent for low-income tenants under this new proposal. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Google your area and see if there's any rental assistance. I would love to cover it all, but it's like hundreds of them. And hopefully we could find a resource that you just go and type it in and see what's in your local area. But I'll keep you updated if that comes up. That is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To cheer you up a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I tell you the one thing that you should do. When you make something dirty, you have to clean it up, or ask someone to help you. Like if you made something like really dirty, you have to clean it up. And also sometimes I made a really big mess, like put wax on my mom's lens. She was pretty mad about that. So we tried to clean it up, but we couldn't. And my sister made really bad mistakes. And also sometimes we had to clean it up after her, but it's fine. It doesn't matter when we have to clean up. We always have to focus on the positivity, and it doesn't matter. So that's all the things I wanted to tell you for today. Bye.
And if you are ever interested in investing and want to know the best ways to get the biggest return on your money and have it be safe and not completely lost, I recommend clicking this video over here. It goes over index funds, which is basically a group of stocks together so you minimize your risk whenever you invest in them. And one of them actually gave a 16% return this past year. So click that video now if you want to learn more about the safe way of investing. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.